All right, Steve, it is so good to have you back here. For those who aren't familiar with you, I would love for you to give just a quick introduction. You are Steve Wynands. You are the CEO, co founder of Redder. Walk me through a little bit exactly who Redder is, why you're here today.
Yeah, thank you very much, LaDonna. I'm the co-founder CEO of Redder. We are a data company that provides mortgage and real estate data, mostly to loan originators who use it to find loan officers, use it to find realtors to work with. Branch managers will use it to find loan officers to try to work with as well. I was a realtor, top producing realtor before I built this company, and I've been a lifelong engineer. So combining all my passions to provide this data to help LOs build agent relationships.
Love it. I invited you here today because we want to do sort of a state of the industry. What are we looking at? I know you had a post on LinkedIn that went viral when you announced kind of the drop in LOs at the beginning of the year. You're here now so that we can review some updated figures with that. Jump me in. Let's go.
Yeah, thank you. I know people got really excited and nervous. There's a lot of buzz around it. I'm very excited about where this could go from an opportunity perspective. But what we saw is between 24 and 25, it looks like about 10% of the producing LOs out there might have left the industry. So that's what we're looking at right now. And I know we've got until, is it March? They have their
Mhm.
reinstatement period.
Yeah, the final day of February is the last day of reinstatement. So numbers can change come March.
Yeah, so let's see, in 24, so we took a look at the data, and in 2024, looks like we had nearly 217,000 loan officers that did at least one loan. So we looked at, let's see, 2025, we looked at those same numbers of those who are still licensed that did a loan the previous year, and we're at about 195,000. So nearly 21,000 loan originators who are producing did not renew their license in time, or maybe not at all.
I do really appreciate that distinction because we were talking before this about the number of licensees upwards in the 400,000 benchmark in 2020. Then we've seen that number drop significantly, but maybe some of those licensees were licensed in multiple states. Maybe they were people who just had an active license who have decided to dip out. This is the producing licensee data, which, I mean, in my opinion, really is the data that matters.
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out too, because that's the part that's really important to us, clarifying that we're not looking at non-producing managers or LOAs or processors. We really want to focus on those that are producing because that's where the relationships are made between loan officers and real estate agents. And our North Star, everything we're doing is trying to improve that LO agent relationship. And there's actually something super duper exciting about that. A little update since we last posted the figures about the drop in LOs. We did a little bit of a deeper dive to take a look at those folks who either left or didn't renew. And let's say of about those 21,000 that did leave, about 6,200 of them did 5 or more loans, and about 3,600 of them did 10 or more loans, which means there's some decent producers out there that might not be coming back. And if they don't come back, that means their agents are now orphaned. They're going to need to find new loan officers to do some work with. And that's the kind of data that we provide. But also, the other super interesting thing that's been recently forecasted is let's take a look at NAR's numbers. They think that there's going to be 10% or let me take a look at this. Yeah, an 11% increase in existing home sales this year over last year. And so you got 10% of LOs leaving. You've got existing home sales projected to go up by 11%. And so there's a lot of opportunity this year. That's why I'm so excited and optimistic about this year.
I think it's going to be great as well. I think you're spot on. You were saying, you kind of see LOs lag a little bit when it comes to what the real estate market is doing. Do you want to explain that a little more?
Yeah, so we're looking at the data between how home sales are going and then how many LOs there are. You'll generally see that if real estate does well one year, LOs will increase maybe the next 2 years. So they're catching up to everything. And so when home sales dipped, it took 2 years for LOs to finish the exodus from that poor performing real estate year. And so what we're going to see is everyone's still leaving from prior past performance of real estate sales. And now that real estate's going to rebound is what we're thinking, folks won't come back in until next year. And so that's a lot of opportunity for those who stay.
I would completely agree. I want to hypothesize just a little bit. So this is just Steve and LaDonna having a conversation now. Why do you think, like, what is NAR's perspective behind why they anticipate the jump in sales this year?
Yeah, I can give you my perspective. Definitely, this is the personal side of things. We've got some more stability now in terms of everyone's accepting the status quo. Remember, we had that little blip last year where we had like 2 weeks of refinance. I was like, oh, things are going to get better again. And they did not. They just got worse and worse. And now everyone's reading, and instead of wait, they're going to say it's more of the same. And so if you remember anything from the pandemic market, there's people waiting on the sidelines for things to improve. And once they realize, oh, things are not going to improve, let's just go for it. That's when you got more competition, more pent up demand. There's been fewer sales. People need to move somewhere. And so I estimate the same thing that NAR is telling us. We're going to have more inventory, higher prices because folks are coming in off the sidelines.
I think you're right. I think you're right. And I think for a lot of people who maybe moved during the pandemic where their house made sense at the time, they could be getting called back into the office. And so they're going to have to move because of that. There are people who have accepted, like you said, these rates aren't going anywhere. This is our new normal. So we might as well accept maybe this current house no longer works for us. Let's just get off the fence and let's make the move. Consumer debt, of course, is crazy high right now. Inflation has stayed really high. And so I think there's going to be a couple of different variables driving people into actually making the move this year. I'm with you. I think 2025 could bring a lot of really good opportunity for those who are still in it and who have done a good job at maintaining their pipeline, building up some new interest, and just kind of working the different leads that have come their way. So I'm with you. It could be a year of really cool opportunity. It's always what you make of it. But so far, 2025 is not looking terrible.
Yeah, and
Is that a ringing endorsement? That's not a ringing endorsement to be like, it's not looking terrible.
It's not terrible. It's, I mean, for your students that are in your classes, they're in the right place to take advantage of this not so terrible year.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, Stephen, you're a dream as always. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for representing updated figures, data. I want to do this again once we have that finalized data, I think in March. Let's jump on here again. Let's have another conversation then.
I'd love to. Thank you so much, LaDonna.
Of course. Thank you so much, Stephen. Appreciate you as always.